And I wanted to bring to your attention this piece from the New York Times. The leftist media is just not coping with reality at all at the moment. Look at this attempted takedown of RFK Jr. The New York Times reports that Mr. Kennedy has singled out Froot Loops as an example of a product with too many ingredients. Why do we have Froot Loops in this country that have 18 or 19 ingredients? And you go to Canada and it has 2 or 3, Mr. Kennedy asked. And then he goes on to say he was wrong on the ingredient count. They are roughly the same, but the Canadian version does have natural colorings made from blueberries and carrots, while the US product contains red dye 40, yellow 5, and blue 1, as well as butylated hydroxytoluene, or BHT, a lab-made chemical that is used for freshness according to the ingredient label. Why would they? Do they just expect their readers to read the headline and not actually read the detail of the piece? Because they just proved RFK right. Why is a product sold in Canada that is the same product, way more healthy in Canada compared to what the US consumer is receiving?
And Rita, it's not just Froot Loops. There's so many American products that would be outlawed in Europe and your country and a lot of other countries that they just feed us here in America because there's no regulation. And, you know, of course, the companies are worried about that, but they can still sell these products in other countries without putting all these ingredients in them and make money. So they could do that here in America. But they're really worried about RFK is because he's going after big pharma. He's going after these industries that are just able to operate without any, repercussions of their actions. You know, here in America, our media is basically subsidized by advertising from these pharmaceutical companies, but in other countries, they don't have pharmaceutical ads. But when you turn on our TV, every single thing is a pharmaceutical ad. So that's why people are worried is that our whole entire mainstream media is bought by big pharma. And so they talk about the Froot Loops because that'll get people's attention, but really they're worried about much bigger issues that RFK is potentially going to fix.
There was a lot of a lot of debate about that famous picture now that has been posted on President Trump's plane with McDonald's being served to the gang, including RFK, who looks very uncomfortable having to consume McDonald's. But you know what? McDonald's is fine. It's just that you shouldn't be having it every day. And perhaps they could be using, I don't know, beef tallow instead of seed oils like they used to do. That would be something RFK can talk to them about. I want to bring you this clip from Vivek Ramaswamy. He and Elon Musk have been charged with draining the swamp and saving the American people billions by heading up Trump's Department of Government Efficiency. Let's have a listen to how he is going to do it.
The dirty little secret right now, Maria, is the people we elect to run the government, they're not the ones who actually run the government. It's the unelected bureaucrats in the administrative state. That was created through executive action. It's going to be fixed through executive action. Think about the Supreme Court's environment over the last several years. They've held that many of those regulations are unconstitutional at a large scale. Rescind those regulations, pull those regs back, and then that gives us the industrial logic to then downsize the size of that administrative state. And the beauty of all of this is that can be achieved just through executive action without Congress. Score some early wins, and then you look at those bigger portions of the federal budget that need to be addressed one by one. So I think that's one way to think about this is how can the President of the United States, who's been elected with a historic mandate, actually do the thing that the voters have voted for. They haven't voted for incremental change here this time, Maria. We have voted for sweeping change, and the voters actually deserve to get it.
Sweeping change is what the people voted for. Can Vivek and Elon deliver that? Their task is enormous.
You know, they do have a big task with the Department of Government Efficiency, but they can do a lot of stuff by cutting budgets to NASA. NASA's complaining that they're mad that a lot of their budget went to DEI training, you know, and you look at the Pentagon, they have their latest audit. It's like they have $800 billion unaccounted for. So, you know, there's a lot of places where they can find money. So this Government Efficiency Department is going to be awesome now that they're running it. If they actually slash a lot of these slush funds that the government can just spend money unaccounted for. And, you know, Vivek is right. All these unelected bureaucrats are basically running things. So hopefully Donald Trump's appointees can go in there and shut these guys down as soon as possible.
Alex Stein, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Rita. Always a pleasure.